Remember when electric vehicles were the darlings of the environmental movement? Remember when Tesla owners were celebrated as climate heroes? Well, something shocking has changed. And the mainstream media is working overtime to keep it from you. That's right, reports you've heard across the country, Tesla owners facing targeted harassment, vandalism, even outright violence. But who is really behind the attacks? And why has the political left suddenly turned against the very electric vehicles they once championed? Well, tonight we have obtained exclusive footage, first-hand accounts from victims that reveal a disturbing pattern, one that points to a politically motivated campaign that goes far beyond simple vandalism. And just like Tesla owners are being targeted with pain and suffering, many Americans face their own daily battle with chronic discomfort. If you're feeling the weight of age in your joints and muscles, there is something that you need to know. Now, most people think all turmeric is created equal, but they are wrong. A pioneering pain doctor has discovered a turmeric extract that's 200 times more powerful than standard supplements, addressing inflammation at its source. While the radical left attacks innovation on our streets, this is breakthrough innovating pain relief in your body. It's turning off pain like a light switch. See the revolutionary science at goldenrevive.com/NNN, linked in the description. So the radical left continues their terror campaign against Tesla owners, a disturbing new wave of politically motivated violence. You've seen the pictures, you've seen the video. Now, does the left really realize, they realize that they're more likely to own EVs than conservatives? By vandalizing Tesla vehicles to protest Elon Musk, they're mainly targeting the cars of fellow Democrats. You can't fix stupid. Let's check out what Dinesh posted here.
Pew Research study revealed that over 56% of left-leaning Americans were at least somewhat open to purchasing an EV, electric vehicle, compared to only 20% of right-leaning Americans. That means that the intended victims of these vandals with Teslas are themselves more likely to be a fellow Democrat voter more than anything else. They're Democrats going after other Democrats. Leftists are senselessly attacking their fellow leftists in order to score lefty cred. So not only are these vandals putting themselves in a position of committing vandalism, potentially facing jail time and other punishment, they're also aggressively driving their own voters from the Democrat Party. Typically, political action is taken to win people over to your side as opposed to repelling them. Picking losing fights with people in your own party is quite conceivably the dumbest thing you could elect to do. Yet these vandals themselves might as well be wearing wet towels on their heads to protect themselves from heat rays, like the mythical panic-stricken listeners of War of the Worlds in 1938.
Yeah, that's about right, huh? Now, we're going to continue here, diving deeper. The Handsoff protesters swarming across Pennsylvania, claiming to protect Social Security and health care while actually pushing a radical agenda against Trump. They claim to be concerned about democracy, but they're attacking Americans who disagree.
From Harrisburg to
the lunacy does not end.
Yeah, McKenna, those protests were held across many cities in the Susquehanna Valley, including right here in Ephrata, right along Main Street, all with the goal of making their voices heard. From Harrisburg to Lebanon and Chambersburg, people once again took to the streets, angry over recent funding cuts by the federal government. Demonstrators spent the afternoon advocating for the protection of programs such as Social Security, healthcare, veteran benefits, and public education, all with the goal to get elected officials to listen to them. While some of today's events were in partnership with the national hands-off movement, others had a more local focus. Protesters in Lebanon say their event was aimed at calling on Representative Dan User, who serves PA's 9th district, to stand up to President Donald Trump. Meantime, in Harrisburg, hundreds of people filled the steps of the Capitol. John Flood, who helped organize this protest, says he wants those who agree with him to know they're not alone.
This is not just a bunch of crazy people. We have Republicans and Democrats. We have people who are concerned about our democracy, and we want them to join us because we need to send a message to Washington and to the state capitals here that we will not tolerate the erosion of our democratic principles.
Protesters also mentioned that these events are aimed to bring awareness to what's happening across our country. In Ephrata, Taylor Hess, WGAL News 8.
Okay. Now, in case you didn't know, there's a lot of news organizations that are represented in the room. Tim Pool was in the press room today. I should point out it's the second time being added to the Pool list. I don't know if it's because of his last name or what. But yeah, when are you going to put us in the pool? What's up with that? Now Tim's sitting in the cherished seat in the press room. Yes, I'm jealous. Okay, I am. I'm not going to hide it. Yes, I want to be there. I want to ask the question. Okay? And I'm going to get to Tim's question in a minute, but come on. Anomaly pointing out disgraceful White House attire. Munchkin Fetterman, he calls him. And I have to admit that when I was a bit shocked when I saw, I knew that Tim was in the press room today. I get the emails from the White House, and I saw that Tim Cass was on the list in the pool as the new media. So naturally, I tune into the press conference, and I see them pan to Tim, and I was shocked. He's wearing his beanie and sweat shirt and t-shirt. Come on, Tim. Now, the press secretary did say that they're doing a podcast later and they're doing it in the executive office building, and so maybe Tim didn't want to change. But Tim, seriously? I mean, do you own anything else? I mean, yeah, I've got suits. I know you can do better, Tim. I know you got a look, you've got a brand, you want to stay on brand, but we are talking about the White House here. And you're not Vladimir Zelensky. So let's hear a breakdown.
On that very
Many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what is being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland Man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on that unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Now, that's a good question. I give him credit, suit or not. Because the mainstream media, the lamestream media, the people sitting in that bank of chairs right there with the assigned seating, they don't want us there. They don't like us there. They give me the side eye when I'm there. Even when I'm just like, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Hello. Very cordial. No. They don't want us there. Tim recognizes that. I'm sure he got a lot of side eye wearing what he was wearing, for sure. And anyway, great question. Let's see how the press secretary responds. I'm going to scroll it back just a hair so we can get back to that point.
Disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on that unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Sure. Well, we certainly welcome diverse viewpoints in this room, which is one of the reasons we have you in here. And there's many new faces in this room in comparison to the previous administrations. We want to welcome all viewpoints into this room. We welcome unbiased journalists who really care about the truth and the facts and the accuracy. And you rightfully pointed out the Maryland man story, which I, from this podium, when The Atlantic published it on that very first day, I came to this podium and said, this is wrong. The press in this room have this story wrong. And we have seen more and more evidence come to the table that we have had all along. We were always right. The president was always on the right side of this issue to deport this illegal criminal from our community. And it is despicable to see the media continue to refer to this individual as someone who is just a peaceful man living his life in Maryland. This was and always has been an illegal criminal, an MS-13 gang member, and a designated foreign terrorist. And the administration maintains our position to deport these individuals from our community. So thank you for being here, Tim. It's great to see you. Thank you.
Many of the news organizations.
Great to see you, Tim, but next time, do us all a favor. At least maybe put on a suit, all right? Don't Zelensky the White House. Okay, continuing with our thread here. And we're going to keep going. What have we got here? Okay, continuing. Remember when the Chicago BLM organizer Ariel Atkins said looting is justified and part of reparations? Well, she claimed calling someone a criminal for stealing is racist. Check this out.
13 police officers injured. Chicago, for example, widespread looting, rioting caused at least $60 million in property damage in one night. 13 police officers injured, according to a report. The Chicago Black Lives Matter organizer, Ariel Atkins, said that this was justified, that looting is just part of reparation. Told WBEZ she 100% supports the violent looters and that even calling someone a criminal is, quote, based on racism. So, saying it's criminal to break windows out of a store, go in, take what you want, and go home is racist. Stealing something that you don't own out of a store is racist. Police Superintendent David Brown told reporters, quote, this was not an organized protest, rather an incident of pure criminality. This was an act of violence against our police officers and our city. I know David Brown. By the way, he's black. Society has laws, of course. Any society does.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, for your insight. But we're going to keep going. Here's Hollywood legend Morgan Freeman, a huge fan of Elon Musk, praising Musk's incredibly forward-thinking ideas, revolutionary achievements. They at least don't want you to know that respected Americans support Musk's vision. This is on CNBC.
Where we can go.
Is it true that on shoots you're sometimes checking your phone to see what the stock market's doing?
Yeah.
Any stocks in particular?
I own Tesla.
Tesla?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk's. And I think he's got the most incredibly forward-thinking ideas about where we can go technologically. He's, you know, what he's done is nobody else has ever done. He's landed a rocket ship, so it's reusable. What a feat that is. Now we're taking off. We're going to be going to Mars, delivering stuff to people who are going to be settling there, just like they settled the Old West.
Wow, he's
and
excited.
Bringing those ships back and landing them and reloading them.
Is it true that...
Now, that was a clip from 2016. Yeah. My, how the sentiment has changed. Here's Elon Musk exposing the truth about our government. Yeah. The minute he starts exposing the truth is the minute everyone turns on him. Just like when Donald Trump came down that escalator.
Is not breaking. As bad as Twitter was, the federal government is much worse. You know, in the case of Twitter, it wasn't a profitable company. It was like basically a break-even company. But at least it was break-even, and it had to pass an audit. The federal government is not break-even. It's literally losing $2 trillion a year, and it does not pass its audits. It fails its own audits. So, like, you know, there's a case where, like, I think Senator Collins was telling me about how she gave the Navy $12 billion for more submarines, got no extra submarines, and then held a hearing to say where'd the $12 billion go, and they were like, we don't know. That was it. I mean, basically, stuff is so crazy. It's like only the federal government could get away with this level of waste. Of waste. It's mostly waste. It's mostly not fraud. It's mostly waste. It's mostly just ridiculous things happening. I mean, it's like Milton Friedman said, like, money is most poorly spent when you're spending someone else's money on people you don't know. How much are you going to care?
Right.
And that's the federal government.
Now, continuing on, a member of Congress, Elon Musk moved a website button. We told you about this the other day. In 70 minutes, when the government said it would take 100 days.
Login button. Do the monologue. This week, Doge perfectly exposed government bureaucracy in a nutshell. While working on the IRS website, Doge noticed the site's login button wasn't in the top right, like most websites. It's a small thing, but Doge noted it was weirdly placed in the middle of the page. So Doge wanted to move it to the right spot. But an IRS engineer said the soonest they could do that was July 21st, over 100 days from now. So what did Doge do? They stepped in and fixed it in 70 minutes. Here's how it looks now. See, there it is. They moved it from the middle to the top. It's a small thing, yeah, but the government would have needed 100 days to do it.
That is the federal government for you. And Peter Thiel revealing that Elon Musk was left of center for 20 years until the Democrats imposed an intellectual straitjacket where you're not allowed to have ideas. Yeah, they censor you, silence you, delete you, cancel you. The left demands 100% conformity and punishes those who are free thinkers. Peter Thiel.
I've known Elon since 2000, 24, almost 25 years. And, you know, he was never doctrinaire, but for the first 20 years, you know, he was left of center. You know, Tesla was a clean energy electric vehicle company. The Republicans were these people who didn't believe in climate change. And so it was sort of naturally much more comfortable in sort of deep blue Democratic California. And then at some point, Elon shifted, and it's overdetermined why he shifted or why you shifted or some of these other people did.
I didn't shift, Peter. Everyone else just moved.
But
everyone feels that way, of course.
But I know these things are overdetermined, but I keep thinking part of it is just this sort of straitjacket is not what you all signed up for. Well, this intellectual straitjacket where you're not allowed to have ideas. Even if you agree with 80%, it's never enough. You have to be 100%. I've known.
Yeah, don't deviate or you will be excommunicated. Elon warning that America is the central column that holds up all of Western civilization. If America falls, the roof is coming down.
Well, there's a lot of things, I suppose, that I worry about, but and some of these things will seem esoteric to people. You know, the birth rate is very low in almost every country, and it's something, unless that changes, civilization will disappear. America had the lowest birth rate, I believe, ever. That was last year. Places like Korea, the birth rate is 1/3 replacement rate. So that means in 3 generations, Korea will be 3 or 4% of its current size. And nothing seems to be turning that around. Humanity is dying. And people, it's just not something we evolved to react to. And I worry generally about the strength of America. You know, America is the central column that holds up all of Western civilization. So if you like, if we've got the temple of Western civilization, America is the central column. If that column fails, it's all over. You can't run off to New Zealand or some other place. It's over. So either we strengthen that column and make sure America is strong and will be strong for a long time, or that roof's coming down.
We need to keep that roof up, man, because Patriots, it's more than just about the Teslas. It's about saving America from the mob mentality that seeks to destroy anyone who dares to help President Trump and drain the swamp. While Musk and Doge are fighting government waste, the radical left is attacking citizens in the streets. Make sure you follow the Next News Network for the truth they don't want you to hear. There I am at the White House going back this week. So the evidence is undeniable. A coordinated campaign targeting Tesla owners continuing to spread across America, not because of environmental concerns, but because Elon Musk dared to challenge the establishment narrative and support government efficiency. These aren't random acts. They're politically motivated intimidation tactics against everyday Americans. Most of them leftists, greenies, who simply purchased an electric vehicle. So here's the question that should concern every American, regardless of what car you drive or if you wear a suit in the White House press room. If they're willing to vandalize your property simply because of who manufactured it, what else are they willing to do to enforce their political orthodoxy? And how far will the mob mentality go? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And you can support independent media that brings you these hidden stories by heading to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and pick up some Next News gear today, because only patriots can wear it proudly.